Hi, my name is Satish Mandalika. I am the CEO and co-founder of a Bay Area-based startup called Drishyam.ai. At Drishyam.ai, we're applying artificial intelligence to simplify customer support for our enterprise enterprise clients and make it easy for them to provide support to their end customers. We plan to do that using our deep learning based artificial intelligence platform. It's an exciting time for AI startups like ours because AI is now getting to mainstream, getting to a point where it's starting to solve interesting problems. We can already see that the results of that, starting from self-driving cars to facial recognition to identifying rare form of cancer. So it is exciting times for startups related to AI and the developer community. So I would like to take this opportunity to introduce my partner in crime, James Weaver. James, you want to go ahead?
Hi, yeah, I'm James Weaver. I work for Pivotal, and our mission is to transform in the way that the companies develop software. We're all about enabling companies to quickly create software, deploy it in a cloud-native fashion, and literally transform the way they do that, transforming their businesses in the process. I'm a developer advocate with Pivotal, and I'm Satish's co-track lead, and we're pretty excited about the track that's coming up. It's on AI, artificial intelligence, and then a subset of AI, which is called ML, machine learning, and then something that's very close to all of that, kind of in that world, data analytics or just analytics, kind of also referred to sometimes as data science, where you're just trying to find patterns in data and communicate the data. So all those disciplines in this track are related. Would you say that, Satish?
Absolutely, absolutely. And like I've said before, this is an interesting time for the AI space. I think AI, artificial intelligence, is starting to solve interesting commercial problems. It's been relegated to the academia for the longest time, but this time around it's different. And so I see huge opportunities for developers getting into AI, machine learning, and all the technologies related to artificial intelligence.
Yeah, one of the things that excites me about this track is the breadth of sessions that will be offered. So you mentioned that it's been relegated to kind of the academia, and as everyone knows that's listening to this, AI or machine learning kind of started out as these neural networks and this idea in the 70s and later of mimicking the human brain to be able to for computers to be able to learn just like the brain does, and so creating these artificial neural networks. And so one of the sessions, Martin Gorner with Google, he's actually going to do 2 sessions that really dive into how neural networks help us recognize images and also power things like when you're texting on your phone and it's suggesting the next word. He's going to be talking about recurrent neural networks. I don't know, Satish, what are some of the sessions that have you excited about this track?
James, all of them. I think the way we've picked these speakers are, we've tried to have a method to this madness because there's a lot to be covered in these 3 days. So our approach to this has been, let's focus on all the up and coming technologies where startups are operating, where all the big companies like the Googles and the Facebooks are making a lot of contributions. And so you'll see a lot of different themes and technologies that startups and big companies are working on. But at the same time, we also thought of inviting speakers who can talk about the operational aspect of it, because in this particular wave of artificial intelligence, it's all about the data, right? And so to come up with great applications to solve big problems, we need a lot of data. So obvious question that it begs is, well, how do you control and how do you put data in a format that can be then utilized by these algorithms? And so one other aspect that that developers will be exposed to is the operational aspect of it, whether it's big data or any other technology related to it. James, what's your take on that?
Yeah, so that's so ML and AI, it's very attractive, very powerful. The dirty little secret is that, yeah, you do need a lot of data. You need a lot of plumbing because if you have too little data or your data is not clean, then your results, what are you analyzing? Well, you're analyzing, something that's not real or very messy. And so that is part of the battle. That's for sure. You mentioned operationalizing. Another speaker that I'm pretty excited about is Rachel Batish. She's going to be she's with Conversation One, and she'll be talking about, voice first interfaces. And that's a really kind of attractive and very useful application of AI.
Right. My personal favorites in terms of themes are, I'm always intrigued by the fact that companies like Uber and Airbnb that did not exist, 5-10 years back, are now solving this problem of transportation and hospitality at scale. I always wonder, what technologies are being used, and turns out that it's all AI related. So personally, I'm very curious to learn about companies like Uber, that will let you literally hail a cab, any corner of the world. So the software to support that, to provide that kind of information at the tip of your hand across the world, I think it's an amazing achievement. So as a developer and person with technical background, I'm keen to learn more about that. And like you said, Rachel's session is also very interesting, so I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yeah. So there is quite a breadth in this track, from the acquisition of data and getting clean data to like you said, operationalizing, all the way up to some very leading edge things. Another one that I'm excited about is Keshav's session on GANs, Generative Adversarial Networks, where it's an unsupervised learning technique that literally hallucinates images or other things. For example, you could have maybe two faces. So generative adversarial networks, or GANs, where you can have data that is samples, but then you can make up, it will generate things that don't exist. For example, one kind of popular video that you see on the internet now is a horse with zebra stripes, and where the GAN has created that, kind of hallucinated that using an unsupervised learning technique called GANs, invented by Ian Goodfellow. That's a cutting edge kind of thing that Keshav is going to dive into and show you how that works.
Right. So on that topic, another aspect I want to point out about the sessions is the way we organize the sessions. Again, to James' point, we're going to start off in something simple. We're going to talk about machine learning, supervised learning, and then the following day take it a notch up to unsupervised learning and eventually GAN. So we've tried to structure it in such a way that even if the developers did not have a background, that's all right. You could get started with the sessions, and you can start with some of your favorite sessions on the first day. And then you'll realize that we take it to the next level, and you get exposure to all kinds of interesting developments in all these technologies. So
That's what
my
the track then follows a nice learning curve.
That's right. That's right. So yeah. I mean, yeah, we've done what's best in the interest of developers. It's all about the developers. I think the idea is to have like a one-stop shop. In addition to AI, we have multiple tracks, and so we're going to be covering topics as diverse as mobile to IoT to machine learning to agile methodologies. And so I would strongly recommend to the developers who are coming to the conference to take a look at all the sessions, pick your favorites and come up with a schedule so that you can make optimal use of your time in those 3 days when you're attending the conference.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Yes, absolutely. So I would strongly recommend the developer community to definitely go check out our website. Like I said, we're going to have top class speakers, practitioners who are making progress in all these technologies as we speak. So this is your opportunity to get to hear from the best in the industry and learn about all these technologies. And like I said, we're going to try to make it, we are making it vendor neutral. So, it's not a sales pitch for, any particular vendor. You're going to hear mostly about technology and how all these diverse companies are trying to take this technology and implement it. So since your request from us to sign up and come join us in the conference.